Welcome to the American Institute of Healthcare Professionals videogram on Christian counseling and narcissism. And in this video, we're going to look at what narcissism is and how Christian counselors can better understand it, and in some cases, possibly help an individual who's dealing with it, whether they are the narcissist, him or herself, or if they are the victim of the narcissist via their relationship or connection with that person. Narcissism is the sin of pride at its highest level, at its most habitual level. Lucifer's sin of pride makes him the first narcissist after creation. So it is very Luciferic in nature. The problem is, because of our fallen nature, human beings are inherently damaged to have selfish inclinations. So it's very hard sometimes for human beings to think of others. Narcissism, though, is well beyond just the occasional selfish impulse, but it is a behavior that is a habitual state of self-love. It is a personality disorder. It is a vice of vices that finds itself completely connected with Lucifer's first sin of pride, self-love itself. James chapter 3, verse 16 warns that for where you have envy and selfish ambition, there you find disorder in every evil practice. And again in James chapter 4, verse 1, it says, "What causes fights and quarrels among you? Don't they come from your desires that battle within you?" So that desire to love oneself, but to love oneself in an unhealthy, extreme, over-absorbent way, is the sin of pride, which later leads to the habitual disorder of narcissism itself. So narcissism is a pretty much overused word. Society overlabels selfish individuals as narcissists. Anyone can be selfish in a given moment. And in many relationships, many individuals that are breaking up with others or going through a divorce label their other ex-partner as a narcissist. And sometimes this is not the case. It's just individuals are dealing with each other in a divorce in selfish ways, which might make a person who is being selfish at the moment appear narcissistic. But narcissism is something much deeper, more grievous, more hurtful to the soul and to the other individuals that live around the narcissist's orbit. Narcissists seek glorification of self at such an extreme level, even at what we would refer to as a delusional state. They seek power and control over others. They have a superiority complex that isn't even is not even correct. It's not even properly balanced. Their superiority complex has no justification, which leads them to critiques of others and putting others down. A narcissist needs to be the attention of others. A narcissist can't talk about other people's accomplishments. They're envious of success of others. They feel a sense of entitlement. And they lack empathy for the needs of others. Only their need is to be met. And they lack even an ability to see the needs of others because they don't follow the golden rule. The golden rule does not apply. What they do is okay. But if it's done to them, it's not okay. And they cannot even see that. They're so blinded by this personality disorder, this narcissistic state, that they don't have the ability to even comprehend that it's not all right all the time. So in dealing with the selfish, it can be very difficult, especially if you're in a relationship with a narcissist, unfortunately. If you just meet a narcissist for the first couple weeks and you start to see these signs, you disengage. But when you're dealing with someone who's in your family that you discover, hey, I think they are a narcissist, or a relationship that you might be in for too long, you'll start to discover that it's very difficult to deal with these individuals. They're very confrontational with any critique. They're easily slighted. They like to belittle others. They dismiss others' concerns. They undermine others who are in their way. And when push comes to shove, they will even demonize and create false critiques of others to justify their own selfish desires and needs. So if you're in a debate or trying to offer direction, it's not going to work with a narcissist. If you're trying to have meaningful dialogue or to discuss a past wrong, it's not going to work with a narcissist. The narcissism is so powerful of a disorder that it completely directs them only to their own needs, and only their needs matter. So you're not going to be able to change a narcissist. It's best to stay calm, to watch one's words, and when you make a constructive criticism, make it as possible as you can. Mix it with compliments. Do not reveal nothing that is not necessary to a narcissist, because a narcissist can later use it against you. Feel free to use flattery if you really want to control the situation, if you want the narcissist to respond a certain way. Be sure, however, if you're being abused by a narcissist, to create boundaries of letting them know how far they can get. And then being very voiceful and speaking up for yourself when possible, to let them know that this is not acceptable behavior. It's not going to change how they're thinking, but they will react a certain way. And if you know how to react, you can minimize the narcissistic response. That makes it very difficult to deal with selfish people. So is narcissism nature or nurture? And it's a little bit of both. Just like any individual, there's certain things that we have talents that we're better at, and there's things that we're not so good at. There's things within our broken nature that are inclined towards certain sins. We gravitate. So we have our own crosses, our own struggles within our very self. But those things can be tempered. They can be controlled if proper nurture takes place. So narcissism is a learned behavior overall, but certain personality traits have a stronger attraction to self-love than others. Selfishness for many is just at its base core part of our fallen nature, but it is part of also self-preservation. So there is a natural inclination of the baby that's born to demand selfishly. I need this, I need. And these needs need to be met. But as the child grows, the child starts to learn that their needs don't always come first. In a narcissistic personality that is just a seed, this will come on much stronger. In a child that is more giving, it'll be much easier to correct and prevent, as opposed to a child who has a stronger inclination to be, quote unquote, a spoiled brat, so to speak. So it's important that parents teach children to share and care for others, teach them empathy, reprimand negative behavior, lack of sharing, avoid spoiling a child, let them know there is consequence, teach them the evils of materialism and the beauty of spirituality, teach them the golden rule: what you would like done to you, do unto others. Conform a child's conscience to God's moral law, and teach them the beauty of humility, the beauty of service as Christ as the paradigm of that. And also through his mother and the saints and how they exhibited humility. Remind them in scripture that the last on earth shall be first in heaven. And that, as Christ said, blessed are the meek. So is it nature or nurture? It's a little bit of both. So I think it's important that parents, as the first educators, as the first and primary caregivers, also spiritually help form children to be humble, to be giving. And when they do grow up, they're able to live in a loving, giving relationship. And if they come across a narcissist, that they will see the evils of pride and selfishness and be able to hopefully better avoid individuals who are completely, totally about themselves. So we offer at AIHCP a Christian counseling certification. The link is below. Our phone number is 330-652-7776, and our email is info@aihcp.org. I'd like to thank you for listening and have a good day.